Hello and welcome to the Marburger post-game show. Steve, you excited about them Lions? Yeah, and Steve, I'm just a little fired up about them Chargers. Championship.
I tell you,
back
people,
to the ship.
you don't have to live with him, do they, Tom? We had to live with him here on Friday night.
At least for an hour and a half. But
Tom, where's your jersey? Didn't you used to play for Crest?
it's in the attic.
Ooh, sort of like the Burns football season.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We know that Dennis couldn't resist that jab there. Even
Hey.
though I'd like to say congratulations to the Coach Barnes and the Crest Chargers
Yes, sir.
and to Coach Ware and the Shelby Golden
Yes,
Lions
sir.
for their outstanding seasons.
Absolutely.
Well represented Cleveland County football. I'd say best football county in the state.
Let's
Thank you
Forest
very
View,
much.
congrats
Thank you.
tonight.
Let's run a few scores. We got the Shelby Golden Lions over the Reedville Rams, 49-3.
In a squeaker.
Do what?
In a squeaker.
Yeah, in a squeaker. And we got Crest Chargers over Northern Guilford,
In a real
23-17
squeaker.
in overtime.
Yeah.
Forest View falls to Concord, 35-14.
And I was a little surprised there. I thought Forest View would put up some points against
Yep.
Concord, but they shut down South Point and held them to 14 points last week. So I've not seen Concord, but their defense must be the real deal.
They must be very good because they
Very
shut
good.
down South Point
and Forest View. And Forest View consistently put
Now
up
we got
40,
two
50,
basketball
60 points.
scores. Cherville over North Gaston 83-71, and North Lincoln beats Lincoln 47-42. Dennis?
Well, I see Andre Bush in the house here tonight. Andre, thank you. Thank you, Andre. I appreciate your pick today, my man. All right, over here, fellas, we've got it broke down, West teams, East teams. Let's give the scores, and then let's give who they'll be playing. So, Tom, why don't you take the West team? Lewis, you take the East team there.
All right, 4AA in the West, it was Mallard Creek 56, Butler 14.
And it looks like they'll be playing Wake Forest in the East in a thriller, 24-23 over Middle Creek. Of
That
course,
would have been cool, Mallard Creek and Middle Creek.
Yeah, and we don't know a tremendous amount about those teams out east because we know they're just not in our coverage area. Right. But that's something that congratulations to Mallard Creek in the Charlotte area. They'll be going to the state championship. Steve's telling me I have a phone call. I wonder if it's a Crest Charger fan. Go ahead, caller.
It is. Who we got?
This is Trey, Dennis. What's going on?
Hey, Trey, they're giving me a hard time tonight. Tell me about it, brother. When I
I'm gonna tell
left,
you guys, the best game in the state by far tonight. As you can tell, probably by the scores and overtime. But what a game! What a game! What an atmosphere! And I'm telling you, that Northern Guilford team, that's one heck of a team, one heck of a program, and
They were a
they've rolled
team.
off 43, 44 in a row, and they're hard to beat.
well, walk me through it, Trey. When I left, it was 17-10 Northern Guilford. What happened?
Well, Crest threw, I don't know if you were there earlier in the game. They had the Wildcat. They had Jalen Moore at quarterback, and they threw it to Omar Brooks, the tight end, right over the middle.
Yeah.
He dropped it. He was wide open. He would have scored on that play. They went back to that same play and scored again and tied the ball game up.
Gotcha.
And it went to overtime. Northern Guilford got the ball back about a minute and a half to go. They just they got third down at 8 and kind of ran the clock out to go to overtime, and they won the toss in overtime, decided to go second, which was a smart move. And, Crest got the ball, and PJ took it in and fumbled at the goal line. Crest recovered in the end zone for the touchdown.
We try to
Trey
make it
misses
exciting.
the extra point. I think it got partially blocked. Northern Guilford gets the ball in the 10 for their shot. The first snap goes over the center's head a little bit, about 5 yards, loses 5 yards. We stuff them on second down. They try to run. Third down, we get after the second down play, we got a personal foul call. I don't know what it was. I think it was taking the kid out of bounds. One of those calls, borderline calls.
We had a
So it's
couple of
third
those
down and
tonight.
7 on the 7-yard line. They throw a little lob pass to the end zone. It's incomplete. Should have been intercepted. Fourth down, they come back to the other side of the end zone, and it went over his head 10 yards.
Well, we finally got that Northern Guilford monkey off our back.
Absolutely, yeah. When we started missing 2 extra points tonight, I looked at my wife. I said, "Here we're going in." I said, "This team, I don't know what it is with this team and our kickers against this team, but the Crest Chargers down 17-7 in the third quarter, and just like Coach Barnes always says, this team finds a way to win every single week. It's different every week. I mean, you just don't know if they're going to run it down your throat every week, or they're going to run. But they had that little wrinkle tonight over the Wildcat set up and toss it right over the line. But they were stacking 10, 11 guys in the box, and it was going to work because nobody was on him. Nobody, they dared us to pass, I guess, and they got beat by it.
Trey, you know anything about Southern Durham? They won over Hunt.
I know they're going to get beat next week.
Now, do you know anything about them? Is what I'm asking.
I really don't. I don't know. I don't think Crest has ever played them. I was thinking about that on the way home, and I know they won their game pretty big tonight from the score I heard.
38-10.
It's to be honest with you guys, I viewed this tonight at Crest High School as the state championship game. I think whoever won this game was going to win the state title.
Well, Trey, one of the things that we were talking about in the press box, and don't want to sound, like we were being negative, but we were talking about at that point being behind, like when it was, we were down like, couple of scores, that this was really a good run for us because nobody expected this out of this team. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year for the Chargers. Next year is the year we really are supposed to have the kids in place and the young players have matured and this, that, and the other. So for this team to pull back from that deficit and win tonight showed me a level of maturity that I think is not only going to help them this year in the championship game, but next year going forward.
Hey, next year, it's just they're going to be tough. I mean,
Roseboro should be back next year. The number one player for Crest, Lewis, was out all year.
All year long.
They're playing good football right now. The defense really stepped up in the second half. To hold Northern Guilford to 0 points in the second half is just unbelievable.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I really thought the game might be slipping away when they ran the kickoff back after we scored.
Oh, yeah.
They run the kickoff back, put them up 17-7. I was like, I was thinking like maybe you were. Good run. We'll be back next year. But the kids hung in there, dug in there. The defense dug in there and just played the lights out in the second half.
That's what you got to do if you're gonna proceed.
Yeah, defense wins championships. That's for
sir.
sure. And they, this Crest team, like I said, they have multiple contributors every single week, and it's just a fun ride and fun to watch. And it's probably one of the best football games. I've been watching it for years and years and years.
Hope you got it on film.
Well-played game I have seen in a long time.
Right.
Well,
on both sides. And you give Northern Guilford credit.
Trey,
what a program. 44, 43 in a row.
Yeah. Trey, you probably know that I'm a Crest fan. At the first of
Tom,
the year.
did you know that?
I had no idea.
But at the first of the year, I was pretty quiet, sort of like these Dallas Cowboy fans over here. Now they're making a little noise. But I thought that we were probably maybe only the third, possibly the fourth best team in the county. And here we are going back to the championship. I want to give a shout-out to Coach Barnes and Coach Duncan and all the guys, and the maturity of that offensive line has come along. These kids are now –
they really dominated the second half, and, so the offensive line was wearing them down. And I actually thought Northern Guilford got a little tired at the end of the night. I mean, they had a lot of kids playing both ways, and you're getting run on every single play. Even if it's not gaining 1 or 2 yards, you're still getting pounded every single play. And that takes a toll on a high school kid playing both ways. And being a physical game tonight, it kind of paid off for Chris at the end to have multiple running backs throwing at them. Go the Wildcat, run PJ. I mean, it paid off for him tonight, and we got one more to go, and we'll hope we'll bring it home. And let me say, shout out to Shelby. I don't say that too often, Dennis, but congratulations to the Lions, and let's bring 2 state championships back to Cleveland County again.
Sound like a winner.
This county has rich football talent, history, and there's nothing better than Cleveland County football.
And Trey, to add to your Shelby comment, I wish Burns could have been there with us.
Well, Tom's sitting beside of you, so I don't know if I want to say that.
Well,
but,
I have to give him a little love.
All 3 county teams are going to be back next year, and it's going to be another great year. Yep. We got unfinished business left over here. We got to get Coach Barnes that first ring.
There you go.
So.
Well, thank you, Trey. Appreciate your call. Be sure and call us next week. We're going to be here one more week.
All right, man. If y'all see Rob or hear from him, tell him I said bulla bulla.
All right, my man.
We'll do it.
Steve, do we have another caller?
Got a caller?
Okay, no.
No.
Well, let's go back to the scores. We got Greensboro Dudley beating Charlotte Catholic 20-15. That's in the
was
West.
closer than it started out, Lewis.
Right.
Catholic got behind
They
quite
were
a bit.
down, yeah. Tom?
And
in
they'll
the
be
East.
facing Scotland out of the East. They defeat J.H. Rose 38-33.
Right.
So interesting matchup there. Dudley, I believe, sometimes has been in the East.
They have.
But they're in the West this year
That's
and
at
in the four.
Winston-Salem, Greensboro.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Well,
right,
Well,
on,
Northern
right on the
Guilford's
line.
been in the East
Oh,
couple
yeah.
times, yeah.
That's where we played in the championship
Right.
2 years.
Well, I know that Dudley's got to have a pretty good team if they did, in fact, defeat Catholic. I don't know where that game was played.
At Dudley.
At Dudley.
But
Played
here's the thing,
Greensboro.
too, fellas. Scotland was bridesmaid to Richmond County at Lewis
Yep.
for many years.
Yeah.
And Mark's brother Daryl was the
Used to
coach down
coach
there in
at
Richmond.
Scotland, yeah.
And Mark coached at Scotland.
Scotland and Daryl coached at Richmond.
And now it looks like Scotland's got the upper hand, and they're off to a run.
We got a caller.
Oh, we got another caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey guys, Derek Smith here. Just getting through wrapping up the broadcast in Concord, heading back toward Gaston County. Thought I'd give you guys a
Thank you,
shout
Derek.
out, one last call to wrap up the season tonight.
Well, tell us a little bit about your game tonight, Derek.
Well, I mean, you know, I came away pretty impressed with Concord after beating South Point last week, and so I knew it was going to be a tough task for Forest View to win this football game. I mean, the defense that Concord played on, you know, what we all feel like is a, you know, pretty prolific offense, at least in our league, in South Point, to do what they did last week was a pretty good feat. And, you know, I felt like if they could do that tonight to Forest View, that probably would be the difference in the ball game. And certainly they played outstanding defense tonight, and, you know, really frustrated Logan Bradley, and, you know, the offensive lineman for Forest View got beat pretty bad up front, and there were a lot of holding calls, and I think that was just the fact of trying to throw an arm up there to keep something from happening to Bradley, getting a sack, you know, whatever. But, you know, this is obviously a good Concord team. I mean, you don't go undefeated this deep in the season and not be a good football team. I mean,
Absolutely.
I felt like they were going to run the football, and that would be, you know, what they would do. But the surprising thing was the fact they threw three touchdowns through the air in the first half. It kind of came out with a little different wrinkle tonight, and that may have caught Forest View off guard a little bit. But, you know, Forest View's defense has been much maligned this year anyway, and they just couldn't make a stop and couldn't get back in the ball game.
Right.
And
Well, Derek,
there
I
was
think
about 180 yards worth of penalties against Forest View tonight, and that kind of hurt them as well.
that'll kill you.
Derek, I think the consensus was that was going to be a shootout, and if Forest View could win like 56-54, that might be the way to beat them. However,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it did not turn out that Forest View could throw the ball on this team as we anticipated they would. What was it? Was the defense getting to the quarterback, or the receivers not getting open? What was it tonight?
It was the four-down linemen. You know, this is, you know, four-down linemen rushing for Concord, beating five-down linemen trying to block for Forest View. I mean,
Wow.
they put a lot of pressure on Bradley and sacked him several times, flushed him out of the pocket. It wasn't the receivers. I mean, McKelty Armstrong had over 100 yards receiving tonight, and, you know, he's their best guy, but it was just the fact that the offensive line couldn't give Armstrong any time to throw the football tonight. I mean, they just got beat in the trenches tonight.
Yeah.
And, you know, they ran it okay with no Neal, but, you know, they like to throw it, and that's what they want to do, and they just couldn't do it successfully tonight.
But, you know, I think if you had told the Forest View people preseason that they were going to be playing in the third round, they would have said, we'll take it. Because
Well,
this,
yeah,
this was
because
a
they
good
came in with a 1-12 all-time, you know, record in the playoffs. This is a program that couldn't win a playoff game for all those years. Finally got over the hump a couple years ago, and then obviously went furthest they've ever gone, you know, this year. So, yeah, expectations were, okay, make the playoffs, but then what are we going to do? And so certainly they exceeded their expectations by getting this deep, I think.
Well, I know this wraps up your broadcast for the year,
Yeah.
but we appreciate you calling in, and it's been
Hey, no
a
problem.
pleasure to hear from you guys this year, and we look forward to more next year from you. Hope you'll be back and doing more broadcasts for KTC Broadcasting next year.
Hope so. I will, guys. Appreciate listening to you guys. I know you guys stay busy with the pregame show and the postgame show, and you guys are on the air till midnight and doing
Yes.
the scores, Terry tracking them down. So I know everybody appreciates what you guys do too. And I think we've had a good year at KTC Broadcasting. I mean, the number of games we've done has
Oh,
just
wow.
been incredible. I'm not sure anybody in the state does as much as our group of internet stations, radio stations
Don't
do. I
cut
mean,
the show.
nobody
I
does. It
agree.
takes a lot of people to pull this off. I don't know how many guys we got doing this on a Friday night, but it's a lot of people. And, Calvin and Kevin get this thing, orchestrated back there, and I think we do a heck of a job, and I appreciate what you guys do, too.
Well, thank
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you,
All right,
Derek.
man. See you guys. Take care.
Thank
See
you,
ya.
man. And a shout out to Steve Roberts on the board and Dakota Wisnut here as our producer. And Terry in there. I mean, who's better in scores in the state than Terry?
Nobody.
Nobody.
We got an update over here
right.
at that Scotland score, Tom.
Scotland 53, J.H. Rose 40. That's
wow.
not a basketball score. That
No,
is a football score.
That was updated.
And
That
so
was
they'll
different.
be playing Dudley, and we've got another caller. Go ahead,
Got a caller. Who we got?
We got Will Borkins of the
Hey,
City
Will,
Fort
my
Falcons.
man. How about them Chargers? How about them Lions?
How about Cleveland County?
How about
I am-
Cleveland County?
I am super stoked right now. It just brings what I've always felt in this county since I've been coaching in the Little League here. Is this is one of the best football counties in North Carolina, and we were even back when I was in school. I love this county for football. Nobody can take nothing from us now.
Yeah.
You can't say we got two teams going into the championship Saturday. We really and honestly could have had three.
Yeah.
So
should have had three, but I tell you what, Will, back in '94, I know you're not that old to remember way back then, but back in '94 in the state senate, I got to hang up a Burns state championship and a Crest state championship tag. And those guys down there in Raleigh, particularly the Sergeant Arms, are big football fans. I had Tim Ramseur and Chris Coleman as two of my pages, and they know Cleveland County football, and they have been following it. We are followed Cleveland County football statewide. The people in the East know and respect Cleveland County football.
Yep.
that's true. And you talk about two great Chargers, which I happen to be in the workout room with both of those guys, Chris Coleman and Ramseur, which was an absolute beast, is one of the best linebackers that ever played the game. The tradition held at Crest tonight. Fought, and went and got it. But I want to say, like, the offensive line at Crest got pushed tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the game, they pushed back.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, they found a way to do it. They pushed back at the end of the game, and I think that's what really turned the tables for them was the offensive line. They'll say the great plays and the falling on the ball in the end zone, and they'll talk about everything else except for those guys up front. And those guys up front, when they decided to play, Chris won.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's going to be the thing.
That's the
It's just
key.
like the Shelby game. Shelby was getting nowhere at the first of their game. When they guys up front decided they was wanting to play, they blew the game out of the water. And that's the biggest thing here. They don't get recruited. A lot of our offensive linemen don't get recruited here, but we have
Lee.
very good offensive linemen here.
Will, let me just give you a little insider football here. Those two junior tackles for Crest were both at Duke last weekend being recruited according to one of their fathers. And some of those running backs you saw tonight are going down to the game tomorrow. So Coach Cutcliffe, who was National Coach of the Year, is recruiting North Carolina players, and evidently Scotty Montgomery, who knows this area, knows the quality of Cleveland County football and is helping them. That's why Duke's where they are right now in the championship game tomorrow. Steve, can I get an amen on that?
Yeah, but
Amen.
if you're trying to recruit players to Duke, you might not want to bring them to tomorrow's game.
Well,
Hey, Tommy.
touche,
Why
Tommy.
don't you just
Touche,
come on home
Tommy.
before you
Let's
start
hear it for
talking
the
about
Tom.
not recruiting games tomorrow? Why don't you just come on back, take that blue off, and put your green and gold on,
Hey,
and
I'm
smile
here
real
to
big
tell
for the
you,
camera, baby.
They got their hands full tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, that crowd from Florida State, they're
Yeah.
pretty good.
Hey,
They're pretty good.
Yeah. Amen.
hey, don't let any
Hey,
Foster
hey,
hear you
real
say
quick,
that.
can I ask you guys
Yeah.
if
Go ahead.
Ohio State loses tomorrow, Do Alabama make it to the championship game?
No.
Tommy,
No.
Tommy is an Ohio State Buckeye.
No, I even think really with a convincing win, Auburn with a very convincing win over Missouri will jump Ohio State and go to the championship game. I think, and I say that as an Ohio State fan, simply because the prestige of the SEC right now is high. So I think that's going to happen. Of course, all of us Ohio State fans hope that does not happen. But if you want to say it, my heart says, let's see, Ohio State.
I know
Florida
what your mother's going to say.
Let's say what
Your mother's
the
gonna say,
experts
"Go
say
Buckeyes."
because of the prestige of the SEC. Now, notice I said a convincing win. If it's another fluke win, and Auburn's got two fluke wins.
Oh, they had two fluke
the
wins.
fluke wins.
Time out, Tommy.
They're flukes.
So I would say that
The
it would
Georgia
take
game
a
was a double
convincing win.
Listen, I am about to tell you, Mr. Boykins, why Auburn won that game. I coached a young man named Charlie Harbison who told Chip Davis to catch that ball and run it back. And Auburn scored. So I am taking personal credit out there for Auburn winning that game last week because of all the fine coaching I gave
I'll tell
Charlie
you
back
what,
years ago.
Charlie Harbison turned out to be a great coach in spite of you.
Yeah.
He did. He is a great. That's another example of Cleveland County at its best, right there. I mean, he's down there, and the team that he coaches for is playing for the SEC championships, which is the best.
It's the most.
Charlie.
I'll say this: SEC is the most respected conference.
Yeah.
Are they as good this year? I don't think so. But since many of the experts think it is the best conference, it is the most prestigious conference, and if you have a conference champion coming out of that,
that will weigh their decision.
That will weigh their decision. Now, all of us Buckeye fans are hoping that an undefeated record means more than that, but it's one of those things where if you ask me what I think's going to happen, that's what I think will happen. I hope it doesn't, but that's what I think.
I think if Ohio State wins, they're going.
And a lot of people agree with you, but it depends on, there's so much with style points.
Oh, I know.
And if, like I said, it would take a convincing Auburn win. Because Missouri is number 5 or 6 in the.
But when you're undefeated,
look at that look on
Terry does not agree with me. He's saying
if Michigan State's defense, Michigan State's defense is really, really good.
Yeah.
Well, I like what Terry.
Their offense falters. So if it gets into a scoring battle, Ohio State's blow them out of the water.
Speaking of Michigan State,
but if it gets into a defensive struggle where both offenses are getting stuck,
speaking of Michigan
Ohio State has that chance where Auburn can come in the back door with the win.
Will, speaking of Michigan State, I hear they got a very good basketball team up there.
Listen, this is a very good week for Will Boykins. How about them Tar Heels?
I know,
Go
Will.
Heels.
I knew I could get it out of you. Terry's over here with the state gear on looking at me.
It was a very good week for Will Boykins in the sports. I mean, outside of not getting Aaron back for the rest of the season, I mean that's fine. But the rest of my sports stuff has been going great.
Well, Carolina's saving the money on the tuition because most of their players are spending a lot of their time down at county jail, so they don't have to stop
Tommy.
they're saving a little money there.
They won't be in the county jail long as they go out of business. I think they'll get them out.
look out.
All right.
Sorry. Well, Steve's telling us we got another caller, so we got to let you go. We appreciate you.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Thank you, Will. Who we got? Hello.
Steve's hooking them up.
Pushing them buttons. Who we got?
Hello, guys.
Hey.
Oh,
How y'all doing?
Is this the infamous
Dan.
Dan Greer?
This is me, Mr. Senator Davis.
Oh,
excuse me.
Oh, excuse me. Now you're gonna call me names there, Dan. I missed you. Your sweet melodious voice on the radio the last couple of weeks.
Sweet melodious voice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay. That's pretty good, Dan. Did you pay him for that?
Dan is my agent.
I wouldn't pay
by the
for
way.
that. I'm sorry.
Dan is my agent, and
I mean, he talked about his coaching of Charlie Harbison.
I know. Well, that's
Come
what
on,
I
Dan.
said. Charlie turned out fine in spite of him.
Come on,
You're exactly
Dan.
right, Lewis.
Yeah.
And you were my radio coach, Dan.
Yes,
Oh,
you do such
Lord.
a great job at times.
Yeah.
No, but congratulations to the Lions and the Chargers tonight.
Yes, sir.
Great wins, and
Yes, sir.
they were down. Crest was down 10-0 at halftime. I said to myself all the time, they're going to come back and win this thing, and they did.
Yeah.
And Shelby, I always felt they'd win that game because the year that they had offensively and on defense did a great job tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So
Dan, I talked to Coach Scott Kluniger yesterday, who Lincoln lost to Reidsville last week, and I asked Coach Kluniger, I said, what do you think about tomorrow night's game? He said, Shelby will run them out of the park, and that's exactly what they did.
Hey, listen, and again, I bragged about Scott Kluniger all year, and I'm bragging about now. He did a great job this year.
Question.
And, I mean, they should have been in Shelby tonight playing. I wish they had been, but –
well, he told me he said he didn't know whether he could beat Shelby or not.
I think he would have given them a much better game, Lewis, than what they got tonight.
Yeah, probably would have, but congratulations to both those teams, and hey guys, state championship double dose next week.
Yes, sir.
Dan,
and Tom, I want to thank each one of y'all. Lewis, great job. Tom, great job with the Griffons this year. Dennis, great job. I kid you about the politics a few times, but Dennis, appreciate what you do.
Oh, I get him on his politics all the time.
Likewise, Dan, and I'm serious. I have missed your voice because, Dan, you and Calvin do a great job.
Yep.
You and Andy always did a great job for all those years, and I appreciate your contributions and efforts to making football in Cleveland County what it is today, because you've had a long, storied career in broadcasting not only the football games, but the basketball and baseball games as well. And Dan, thank you for what you do for KTC Broadcasting.
And Dennis, thank you. The $20 I gave you yesterday was well worth what you just said.
Hey, you are my agent. You are my agent, Dan.
That's all That's all I could give him. But
I understand.
That's okay.
Hey, that's half his pay for a week.
I
man.
know.
But anyway,
Dan, thank you for calling.
I appreciate everything. Congratulations. I think all through this area we had some great teams. I think Forest View ended their season. They had a great season. South Point, of course, had a great season. Burns had a great season. Shelby, Crest, of course, continue, and East Lincoln had a great season. We're just proud of what we did on KTC Broadcasting. You got 7 games each Friday night.
Wow.
In high school football. That's a lot to put on, and thanks to Calvin and Kevin and Teresa for what they've done.
Shout out to them.
Make sure that happens.
Shout out to them, and if you want to listen to prep football anywhere in the state, anywhere in the world, right here, KTC Broadcasting is the place to be.
I doubt very seriously there's another broadcasting group that does what KTC does on a Friday night.
And plus, we've got Dennis Davis, so all the more reason to listen.
Who's not a Crest fan?
To the Marburger post-game show.
We'll be right back.
Be right back.
We. Hi, y'all.
Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. Those are the powerhouse of vehicles you'll find at Marburger in Shelby. Plus quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. And of course, a service department that is second to no one. So when you're in need of another vehicle, see the friendly staff at Marburger. Marburger, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. 1310 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Proud supporters of our local school athletic teams.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com. Warmth, ambience, convenience. That's the best 3 ways to describe the Monessen vent-free gas logs from Future Energy Company in Uptown Shelby. The Monessen vent-free gas logs are hand-painted for incredible lifelike detail, giving them a truly authentic look, and all come with a lifetime warranty. With easy installation and no venting means they can go in just about any room of your home. The Monessen vent-free gas logs from Future Energy Company, 130 West Graham Street at Uptown Shelby. Visit the website at futureenergycompany.com.
Blanton Cars.
The 20th anniversary sale is underway at Keith's Carpet and Floor Covering in Shelby. It's hard to believe, but Keith and Cindy Edwards have been bringing you the best in carpet and installation now for 20 years. Drop by this week and check out their 20th anniversary carpet and floor covering specials. And, of course, you get professional installation. Congratulations on 20 big years. Keith's Carpet and Floor Covering, 1162 East Marion Street in Shelby.
Norris Merchandise's beautiful furniture with bedroom, living room, and dining room furniture by the famous brands. Norris Merchandise's hardware, everything from nuts and bolts to lawnmower blades. Norris Merchandise's Carhartt clothing, featuring Carhartt workwear, casual wear, and rugged outdoor wear. And Norris Merchandise is an archery shop with a complete line of archery equipment and accessories. That's Norris Merchandise, 2011 South Lafayette Street, Shelby, online at norrismerchandise.com or on Facebook.
Where are you eating breakfast today? Have you tried the Hub Cafe located inside Medical Arts Pharmacy? The Hub opens at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. on Saturday, serving an old-fashioned country breakfast at affordable prices. You'll find homemade biscuits, bacon, country sausage, country ham, liver mush, eggs, omelets, all cooked to order on the grill. Call 487-0511 or come on into the Hub Cafe for a delicious country breakfast located inside Medical Arts Pharmacy, 108 Grover Street, Shelby.
The Round Man, Okie Knipe, invites you into Okie's Tire and Service Center for all your tire and auto service needs. Okie gives you the best value in tires, both new and used tires, and they'll mount and balance your tires free. Come into Okie's Service Center for all your service needs, including radiator flush, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, and state inspections. Serving Cleveland County since 1978. That's right, over 35 years. Okie's Tire and Service Center, 800 West Warren Street in Shelby.
And now our 1A scores. In the East, it was Plymouth defeating Lejeune tonight 50-13, and in the West, it was Murphy over Albemarle 53-21. Next week in the state championship, we will have a rematch from last year. Last year, Plymouth and Murphy played, and Plymouth won 20-15. This time, it'll be Saturday at 11 a.m. at Wake Forest. Plymouth and Murphy will play again. In the 1AA East, it was James Keenan over Wallace Rose Hill 28-14, and it was West Montgomery outlasting Swain County 44-28. Their state championship is next Saturday at 3 p.m. James Keenan against West Montgomery. In the 2AA, it'll be Southwest Onslow will face up against Shelby. Southwest Onslow defeated Northeastern tonight 19-9, and it was Shelby having no trouble with Reidsville 49-3. Shelby win number 725. Next Saturday at 11:30 a.m., it'll be Southwest Onslow facing Shelby. Southwest Onslow was the 1AA champion of last year. In the 2AA, it was High Point Andrews defeating Washington 42-15, and it was Monroe no trouble with Parkwood 48-20. Next Friday night, 7:30 at Keenan Stadium, T.W. Andrews will face Monroe. In the 3A bracket, it was Havelock defeating Eastern Wayne 44-20. Next up for them, a rematch with Concord, a 35-14 win over Forest View. So this game will be Saturday at 11:30 at North Carolina State University. Havelock, a 29-game winning streak, number 1 in North Carolina. In the 3AA East, it was Southern Durham defeating Hunt tonight 38-10, and Crest, a huge come-from-behind win over Northern Guilford 23-17 in overtime. Next Saturday, 7 p.m. at Wake Forest, Crest goes for another state championship. In the 4AA East, it was Scotland County defeating J.H. Rose 53-40, and Greensboro Dudley outlasting Charlotte Catholic 20-15. Next Saturday, 3 p.m. at North Carolina State University, it will be Scotland County against Greensboro Dudley. In the 4AA East, it was Wake Forest defeating Middle Creek 24-23, and the number 1 team in the state, Mallard Creek, had no trouble with Butler 56-14. Next Saturday, 7 p.m. at North Carolina State, Mallard Creek will face Wake Forest for the state title. And now, back to the guys in the studio.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Welcome back to the Marburger postgame show. Tom, you got a word about this fine food we've been enjoying this year
Yeah,
from Sasha.
I've got a couple things. And first of all, let's make sure we know that Martin Charlet, make sure my French is correct, provides some of the all-natural pasture-raised grain for their Charlet beef. The beef is raised in Cleveland County.
Over Falston.
So it's really good, fresh stuff that they have there locally. You could choose one of those burgers at Newt's at a special price for $11.95. And the Green Family Farm is providing gluten-free buns at Newt's.
That's Derek
people like my mom, if she's still listening, she'd probably turn us off because she's mad at me. But people like my mom who are very, shall we say, nutritionally conscious, you can get a gluten-free bun for an extra $2.50. And that's made possible by Sasha down there at Newt's. And we heard your father's a little under the weather. Hopefully he's recovering and doing well. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him and your family, Sasha. So doing a good job taking care of us and help us pay our bills. Get down there to Newt's and eat a burger. You will not regret it. And I don't feel bad saying that because we enjoy those every Friday night.
We
don't
do.
Boys?
And I'm going to tell you, Tom, anybody can look at me and know that I enjoy food.
Yes.
Well, we've got a caller here, fellas.
And I'm here to tell you that's as good as you'll find around this area. It's
Out
delicious.
of 16 games, only 3 visitors won, Lewis. Not a surprise? Shelby.
Home field does mean a lot. Go ahead, Bobby.
Hello.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
Congratulations to the Shelby Golden Lions.
You know it, Bobby. Did you get to go down there tonight?
I'm very proud of the boys. They finally, we had a little shake-up to start with. We got to making a few turnovers. And finally, they intercepted the ball there about the latter part of the first quarter. And Shelby never let up after that. They just really just showed up and played football with the interception, and they almost made the touchdown at the beginning, but they had to finally run it on in, and the score became 7-3. And Shelby never let up after that, and they really showed up to play football here at tonight.
Well, Bobby, I know we talked earlier in the week. Hope you got a chance to go down and see your Lions and see their action. If you didn't, I hear they'll be in Chapel Hill next week. And you can catch them
matter of fact, I'm on the bus right now.
Okay. Well, tell everybody on the bus, go Lions.
All right, everybody give a shout-out for the Golden Lions. Come on.
There you go. Go Lions. Go Lions.
And they really it got into the game, and I thank God for the good job that RJ George done, and along with the other guys, and they really showed up to play football tonight and to play typical Shelby Golden Line football.
Well, I tell you what, from looking at the score, Bobby, you guys must have had a tremendous effort from your offensive line and your defense tonight, because you rung up 49 points, in the regional finals against a team. I'm impressed, Bobby. The Lions have really come around and solidified. Congratulations to Coach Ware and the team. They've done an excellent job, and we wish them the best next week as they go to Chapel Hill for the state championship.
Yeah, and also Coach Ware, he got the coaches together, and he told them some things tonight, and the team got to working a whole lot more once everything was pulling together. And Shelby never let up, and they was moving the football and executing real well, and that's what I was really proud of. And I think not only that, it took them out of the game plan, Reedsville, and we finally put everything together, and Shelby went on the victorious tonight.
Bobby, I know you know all this stuff, but for the people out there listening, I just want to tell you a little bit about both of these programs tonight, folks. There were 2 teams. Reedsville has 18 state titles. Shelby has 11. Shelby leads the state with 724 wins. Reedsville is second with 687. The teams have played twice before, both times for state titles. Shelby won in 2005. Reedsville won in 2007. And tonight, Shelby dominated in the rubber match, so my tip of the hat goes to the Shelby Golden Lions. Take it on home, Shelby.
Dakota's holding up a sign here. They'll play Southwest Onslow, who was last year's 1AA champion, and this year they've moved up to the small 2A. So They're the defending 1AA champion, and now they're going to be playing for the small 2A championship against Shelby.
Yeah, well, I feel like that if Shelby played anywhere like they did tonight against Reedsville, there's not going to be any problem with Southwest Onslow. And they really showed up to play tonight, and they played hard, and the coaches really I think Coach Ware and his staff are doing a great job tonight and pulling together and working everything out. The team was very happy with the victory tonight here in Reedsville.
Well, Bobby, we appreciate you taking the time to call us, and we're probably going to be doing a show next Friday night before the game on Saturday. You guys are going to have to get up early and get down to Chapel Hill. I believe it's 11 a.m. game, right, Terry?
Yeah, you got that right.
Okay, and just tell the bus driver.
Again, congratulations also to the Crest Tire Chargers on their victory tonight.
Well, after the game, on the way home, tell the bus driver to take a right there at Winston-Salem and go over to BB&T Field for a 7 o'clock Crest Chargers game. Love to have the Lions come there.
All right. And we'll do it again next week, and hopefully we'll be the state champions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby. Talk to you later, bud.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. We got another caller? No?
All right, well, I guess
that means we got to talk.
Yeah, well, let me respond here. I just got some unfriendly messages from a person who will be unnamed. She's my mother. Mom is pretty convinced our little debate that a lot of folks are saying that an undefeated team should not be denied the BCS championship game.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the consensus opinion.
I agree.
In the KTC broadcasting family here. Do what? We have a person who will remained unnamed who is making a case for Northern Illinois who is getting beat. Who is getting beat by Bowling Green tonight. So I think that pretty much dashes your chances of a BCS game. But let's go ahead to our next caller. Go ahead,
got a caller.
Yeah, this is Jeff.
Hey,
Went to the
Jeff.
Forest U Concord game.
All right, Jeff, tell us what happened with Forest View and Concord tonight. We know you guys didn't win. I expected, Jeff, as we talked about last week, your passing attack might have proved successful against them, but evidently not. Tell us a little bit about the game and what went on.
Well, trying to be as politically correct as possible.
Okay.
It seems like each time Forest U had a spark, they got knocked out, by either a turnover or by a penalty. I mean, Forest U was penalized, 10 times for 105 yards the first half, and Concord 5 times for 60. I mean, that was a pretty sloppy game all around.
Yeah.
I mean, looked like Forest U had a good chance when they went up 7-0 on a. I think it was a C.J. Bumgardner tip pass for a touchdown. And then after that, it was just all Concord, just like it was all Forest View last week after High Brighton went up 7-0. It was all Concord, and Forest View just could never recover. And hats off to Concord and Rocky Reed. And that guy's a hoss, and that quarterback knows how to exploit you when you key on him.
Well, just ask the folks at South Point about Rocky Reed, and they'll tell you the same thing. But the one thing that surprised me tonight, one of our earlier callers said that Concord was throwing the ball a little bit, Jeff. What did you see tonight?
Pretty much what I said a little bit ago. I mean, it's like they caught Forest View keying in on Rocky Reed, and that was Concord's first score. I mean, they just popped him with a short pass, and number 6, I forget his name, took it all the way for a touchdown. It's probably like a 60 or 65-yard touchdown reception. And they made Forest U pay each time they keyed in on Rocky, and then a hook and lateral pass, which gave Concord a 28-7 lead before halftime.
The old hook and ladder.
The old hook and ladder.
Yep.
That's one of the oldest plays in football.
That and the Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty, yeah.
As old as we are, Lewis.
And Scott helped beat Carver the other night with 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Lincoln ran 2 of them against Carver.
Well, Jeff, I don't want to rain on your season, but since it's over, what are the prospects for Forest View next year? Are you losing a lot of seniors, and who are they, and what's it look like for next year for Forest View?
Yes, Forest View loses 24 seniors. They lose Logan Bradley and McKelty Armstrong and C.J. Bumgardner and a couple of linemen, but 3 of their linemen return, and then you got promising young stars like Caleb Mills and Isaiah Sanders, both receivers, and let's not forget Mo Neal.
Yeah, Mo's a sophomore.
Back 2 more years.
Yeah.
So a lot of the offense will be back next year, and don't forget J.C. Crawford got some experience starting 2 games, and I think he played some in some other games too that got out of hand, and so I think the experience that he got this year is going to help him. My biggest concern is the defense. They lose, I'd say, 8 starters on that side of the ball.
Well, and I hope we've got some kids coming along that can fill in those spots. And it may be a rocky start because, I'll be honest with you, that's where Crest was at this year. We figured we had some young kids that weren't quite there yet, and look how that turned around. So Forest View could be right back here at the same time next year, battling again to go to the state championship.
But some young guys did get some playing time these past few games, and they got some playing time on the regular season games that were, like I said, out of hand. And I saw some good things from some of the young players coming back, and I'm excited for the future. Like you said, I think it'll be a rocky start because they still open with Nation Ford next year, and that team always gives Forest View all they can handle, and or at least that's what I think. And then they got East Lincoln on the schedule still next year, so they'll be
there.
Yeah,
they'll be battle tested early, but I'm excited about what the future holds, and I hear that they got some middle school kids coming in that are supposed to contribute in the coming years.
Well, there you go. Jeff, we appreciate your taking your time this year to call in and talk with us about Forest View and keep us informed of what all is happening down in Gaston County. There's some pretty good football played down in Gaston County,
Not
too,
bad.
Lewis.
Not bad.
And so, Jeff, thank you.
And hats off to Concord, and hats off to Forest View for the great season they had.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else out there wants to call in?
We got a break here and sell something, or we can talk a little while?
Over in Gaston County.
Talk a little while. Got a break. All right, we're going to be back shortly with the Marburger post-game show.
Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. Those are the powerhouse of vehicles you'll find at Marburger in Shelby. Plus quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. And of course, a service department that is second to no one. So when you're in need of another vehicle, see the friendly staff at Marburger. Marburger, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. 1310 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Proud supporters of our local school athletic teams.
Your sports leader is Big O Country. 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
S&M Sports Shop is now your dealer for Under Armour sports apparel in Cleveland County. Come by and see the selection of Under Armour shirts, shorts, shoes, socks, and sunglasses. The team at S&M, Mike, Suzanne, Luke, Shannon, Dale, Ken, Darren, Dennis, and Charlie, is now your team outfitter for all local schools in whatever sport you play. They have leather jackets for all local high schools. Plus, S&M is your headquarters for Oakley Sunglasses. For all your athletic needs, go to S&M Sports Shop, located at 707 South Lafayette Street in Shelby. When accidents happen, it's reassuring to know that quick expert care is nearby. Carolina's Healthcare Urgent Care Shelby is now open and is staffed with experienced physicians, mid-level providers, nurses, and support personnel equipped with on-site laboratory and x-ray services. So keep our new location and contact information close by for immediate access to the region's preferred healthcare and largest physicians network. Carolina's Healthcare Urgent Care. 1010 East Dixon Boulevard, Shelby.
Shelby Savings Bank.
It's just better here.
With local decisions,
better.
Flexibility,
better.
And knowing how to treat people.
It's just better. Better.
It's just better here. We're here to help our neighbors do better.
It's just better here.
With our best deal mortgage guarantee.
It's just better. Better. Better.
Better here. Great products.
It's just better here.
And 2 convenient locations.
It's just
better here. Now more than ever, Shelby Savings Bank. It's just better here. Member FDIC.
For many families like mine, Alston Bridges Barbecue is a tradition. We grew up with it. Like my brother, he went to Raleigh to school back in 1968, still lives there. My sister moved to California in 1983, still lives there. But when either one comes back to Shelby, they want to go to Alston's for barbecue. You don't get this good barbecue anywhere else in the state or country. Barbecue pork, beef, chicken, slaw, hush puppies, fries, beans, hot dogs, and tea. The best. It's a tradition. Alston Bridges Barbecue, 620 Grover Street, right here in Shelby.
And now scores from around the area. In the 1A East, it was Plymouth over Lejeune tonight, 50-13, and Murphy over Albemarle in the West, 53-21. In the 1AA East, it was James Keenan over Wallace Rose Hill, 28-14, and in the West, it was West Montgomery defeating Swain County 44-38. In the 2A East, it was Southwest Onslow defeating Northeastern 19-9, and in the 2A West, it was the Shelby Golden Lions defeating Reedsville 49-3. Congratulations to the Shelby Golden Lions. In the 2AA East, it was High Point Andrews defeating Washington 42-15, and Monroe defeated Parkwood 48-20 in the West. In the 3A East, it was Havelock defeating Eastern Wayne 44-20. Next up for them will be Concord in the West, a 35-14 win over Forest View. In the 3AA East, it was Southern Durham defeating Hunt tonight 38-10. Next up for them will be the Crest Chargers. Congratulations to them also, a 23-17 win over Northern Guilford. In the 4A East, it was Scotland County defeating J.H. Rose 53-40, and in the West, it was Greensboro Dudley over Charlotte Catholic 20-15. In the 4AA East, it was Wake Forest defeating Middle Creek 24-23. Next up for them will be the number 1 team in the state of North Carolina, Mallard Creek, a 56-14 win over Butler. And now back to the guys in the studio.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Post-game show. Hey, tonight over at Crest, 4 people won $100 hitting the Marburger truck, Lewis.
All right.
And speaking of hitting the spot, we have the voice of the Crest Chargers, Tim Foster. Tim, take it away.
Hey, Dennis and Lewis and Tom. Speaking of my voice, I think it's back gone. Just an unbelievable game tonight, a classic. Somebody have instant classics they talk about in college and pros and even high school. But this was, an unbelievable football game we had right here on KTCBroadcasting.com. And you got to tip your hats to Northern Guilford. They had Crest, of course, and down 10-0 at halftime. I think the big story, guys, in the second half is Crest held the Nighthawks to 45 yards of total offense, but they started scoring, and they found a way to get it to overtime and found a way to win it. But that was just special football, and everybody got their money's worth tonight in that semifinal game.
Yes. Well, I just want to know this, Tim. Did Rob get excited there at the end?
Yeah, and I did too, and Andy did too, and Amy, and I think Kevin was there on the sideline. He got excited, and it was everybody on the Crest side was excited. And I understand that Johnny Roscoe, the former Northern coach, was there, T.J. Logan, and they weren't quite as excited when that pass was overthrown. T.J. was in the house, Johnny was in the house, and but Northern Guilford takes the defeat, guys, for the first time in 2.5 years. You got to go back to August on the field of 2011, and this Crest team, has just been unbelievable. 14 in a row, and I don't think, and I'll be in it, Dennis, we've talked all year, I don't think anybody believed they could do what they've done all year and what they did tonight.
Well, somebody in the press box in the first half didn't believe they could do it either. But
well, and the thing was they were moving the ball. I mean, anybody that listened to our broadcast and anybody that was there, they were moving. But when they get inside the 40 and 30, they hurt themselves with penalties, Dennis, and then they started getting some mental mistakes. But Northern Guilford, every time they were the one team I've seen all year that when it looked like they were going to get a big play, they shut Crest down. I mean, they never could get it. But then it was some trickery that got Crest on the board on a little trick pass, and then Jalen Moore, who's done so much on the ground, throws a touchdown pass to tie it up in the final 2 minutes, and then I started having flashbacks, Dennis, and all the Crest fans know Alex Trejo, after Crest scores in overtime, misses the extra point, and so you know what everybody's thinking? Oh no, they're going to score, get the extra point, and beat Crest. But it was just it was a special football game, and it took a special performance to win tonight.
Well, when I walked in, that's what Terry indicated to me, because from Boiling Springs to Cherryville, it's sort of like the dead zone. Can't get you guys. Yeah. And so I got here and I walked in. I was going, "What's it going? What's going?" And it was 17-17. And then when you guys get excited on the computer, it sort of blanks out, and so we have this void. And so here's the thing: we found out they missed the extra point, and Terry says, It couldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. How ironic.
This is one of those nights where, the funny thing is, they kept saying, stay off the field, no matter what happens in overtime, talking to the fans. And guess what happens when they overthrow that pass at the end? Here they come onto the field. It's just sometimes emotions get to you. But I just want to give a shout-out to Crest and also to Shelby, Dennis. I mean, you think about that, they lost a couple of games at the end of the year to Burns and Crest, and they have just, they come back. They've just been dominant in the playoffs, and Cleveland County football special, and it's going to be exciting next Friday and Saturday.
Well, you think about this, we're tooting Shelby's horn, we're tooting Crest's horn, but Burns beat Shelby.
Yes, they did.
The state championship. They played Crest a heck of a ball game.
Yep, they sure did.
Crest barely won. So Burns has nothing to hold their head down and be ashamed of this year.
No, Burns, here or there, a play or two could have been, you look at Concord and them getting there, and they were able to really pin South Point deep last week and pin them back and then hold on and get big plays against Forest View. But, Burns, there's no doubt about it. Maybe they get a little bit better draw here or there, and they could have been talking about still playing this weekend. They had a phenomenal season. But, you talk about two teams in the championship and a Burns team that went, 11-2 and lost to South Point and Crest. So it's been a special year, and I don't know if anybody at times this year thought either one of these teams would be in the championship game.
Well, I know when we started out early in the year, these kids were green, they were raw, but they have developed into a team, T-E-A-M, and there's no I in there, folks.
No, and I really think the big thing, too, is, Dennis, the Crest defense, I think it's 10 or 11 straight games now they've held the opponent to under 20 points, and this is, great offenses that you've seen, not every week, but a good many weeks, and all I can say in wrapping up is I appreciate you letting me call in, and we'll look forward to having the state title game on KTC and on, I believe, WHS next Saturday night with myself and Rob and Andy, and we're looking forward to it in Winston-Salem, and let's hope we can bring back 2 state titles next weekend.
Well, we'll be here on Friday night, Tim. Why don't you call us and give us a little preview of Southern Durham and the Chargers and how that may go.
I'll be happy to, Dennis, and you guys, thanks for the job you guys do, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I believe we have Coach Ware.
Got another caller.
Coach Ware's on the line.
Yes, I think it's more.
Hey, Coach Ware. Congratulations, Coach Ware.
Congratulations, Coach.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Congratulations, Coach. Big win.
Hey, if you're not busy next week, you might like to go down to Chapel Hill. I hear there's a pretty good ball game down there.
I hope so, yeah. I got plans to be there myself.
There you go.
Yeah, Coach, I was listening to that game early where you had the turnover down deep in territory, and then Reidsville had the illegal block and kind of took them out of, they got a field goal, and they were looking like they were going to go in and get a touchdown. I was a little worried about you guys not having the momentum right there, but I tell you what, after you got through that first quarter where you had a few mistakes, you really just took over the ball game. Maybe it was just a little nervousness. Maybe it was a 3-hour ride. Tell us a little bit about what swung the momentum in that ball game.
We didn't start out very well offensively. with the 2 turnovers, and then we put our defense in a bad spot, and they did a great job keeping them out of the end zone. And then we got a huge interception from DeMario Houston, and he runs it back to about the 4-yard line. We score the next play, and we were up 14-3 at the half, and it almost felt like we were down. We had been hit so hard with adversity early, but our defense just played outstanding.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of those guys, and Coach Spine and our defensive staff and the plan they put together. The kids went out there and executed it. They stopped a really high-powered offense and held them 3 points.
Yeah, they stopped him twice, and it seemed like in that first quarter, I'm wanting to say you had 2 turnovers in your own end of the field and kept them out of the end zone.
We did. We did. Back-to-back. Kylon Ross came from the backside, made a touchdown-saving tackle on a fumble return, and that gave us a chance. And then the defense held them on 4th down on the first one, then held them to a field goal the next time. So, but it was it's another great performance by our defense. Offense, it took us a while to get going, but we were able to stay pretty much balanced, and then we were able to capitalize on some of the turnovers that our defense caused.
And it seemed like you never looked back once you got the lead. There was one play, I can't remember whether it was on a defense or offense, where what happened? A guy fell down on the 1-yard line before scoring. I mean, I know you guys scored on the next play, but I couldn't really figure it out what happened on that.
That was the interception return.
Okay.
He just slipped. It was slick. It was muddy, but it's that way for both teams. But yeah, he was wide open, just slipped, or we scored the next play. And we did have a play where we batted a pass, and their quarterback caught it and threw it again, and we intercepted it. And they had to kind of conference with us to straighten that mess out, but we got it.
Yeah, 2 forward passes on the same
Right.
play.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like it was a dominating performance on both sides of the ball, and it seemed like you guys really overmatched them. Do you think that that they were just overmatched physically, or they couldn't match your speed, or what was it that just, and I know you talked about your excellent game planning too.
They had some key guys who were banged up, and that, and we hit them hard, and they're a young football team too. They have a lot of those guys coming back, so our guys never panicked when we had that first hit. Once the offense got going, we got big nights again from Raekwon Washington, Jaquavius Brooks, and then Antoine Wright and RJ the passing game.
Well, Coach, I know you're going to enjoy this victory tonight, but very soon I imagine you'll be breaking down some film there on Southwest Onslow. Do you know anything about this team? Have you got anything on the grapevine about them?
I really don't. I don't. I remember, in 2004 when we played those guys, they were pretty much wing tee, and but I think they've gone to the spread. But and I know everybody down there, their bleachers are about 4 steps high, so it looks like they're filming off a lawn chair. So we can't get a good high angle from a press box, hopefully. But it doesn't matter who we play. I'm just proud of our guys. Proud that they're getting to make this next step to try and go win the state championship.
Well, Coach, I want to back up a few years ago, and you, I know, are an Appalachian graduate, and the Appalachian had a lot of success up there with a certain kind of offense, and you guys had run the wing tee for about 13 centuries, and you made a decision to change the offense, and you took some heat for doing it from some of the Shelby fans. What made you decide to change the offense? And as you say, boy, look at them now.
Well, it's, and I think the playoffs show it's still about running the ball, getting first downs, playing good defense this time of the year. And that's what's happened. It doesn't matter what you run. You got to make first downs.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I was had been defense coordinator, and what I had seen and felt like I knew better was the spread, so that's what we went to. But it's still about blocking, tackling, and running the ball, and especially this time of the year. And you can see what we've evolved to here in the playoffs. We've become a whole lot more balanced and running the ball more, and we were able to run some clock, eat some clock, get some big first downs tonight.
Well, if anybody saw Shelby 3, 4, 5 years ago and said, this is what Shelby's going to be like, they're in for a big surprise because, as you said, I think with the innovation of what you put in the offense and the passing attack, we jokingly sometimes call it air wear, but with your solid running game, your very solid defense, and you added this passing attack with some very talented receivers you've had, Coach, and R.J. George probably threw for over 3,000 yards this year. Shelby, you are a load to handle, man.
Well, we're definitely multiple now, and I feel good that we have 4 good receivers, and Kylon Ross broke the school record for a single game, and he was a backup, but he jumps right in there, plays on both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
and getting those guys out in space, it does make us very multiple. We were able to hit a big play action pass tonight that was set up by our running game. So I'm just really excited for our kids.
Coach, y'all play Saturday morning, right?
Yes, we do.
All right, now you going down Friday, or are you going to go down Saturday morning?
I will go down Saturday morning. We will not go on Friday.
Yeah,
I just wonder. Scott Kluniger was the same way.
I was going to
that
recommend
precedent has been set.
I was going to recommend that, Coach. And I know it's an early rise.
Yep.
It's a long bus ride.
But it's better.
You got to warm up. But I tell you what, sometimes young men of a certain age have a way of not going to sleep and getting in trouble, and then it's game time, and things have occurred that shouldn't have occurred. I speak from experience in the past.
Yes.
Sometimes you can lose the game before you kick off.
Yeah, I just wondered what you're going to do because there's 2 theories on that, and a lot of the coaches agree with you, though. They need to spend the night before their game in their own bed at home, and it's a whole lot better.
Yeah, I mean, it's really no different than getting up going to school. I mean, we'll probably leave. I had, looked at it, but, around 6:30 or 7. But, they do. They need to sleep in their own bed. To be honest, it's unfortunate that anybody has to play at 11 o'clock.
Exactly.
Because that is not a natural time for anybody to play.
No.
And that's the one game.
It's unfortunate the state sets it up that way, and I think Carolina basketball has a lot to do with it this weekend.
Kentucky's
I
at
won't
home.
go any farther on that.
Yeah, I would if I were in your shoes, I would have preferred the Friday night game because that's more of a natural time. But like you said, that 11 a.m. If they just made it 1, that would have been much better for you.
It is, but it's the same for both teams, and it's an opportunity of a lifetime. And what time it happens doesn't matter to us. We're just excited to be there, and I've told them tonight we got one more step, but I'm not be satisfied.
Well, that's the thing,
Coach. Good luck.
Well, good luck to you. I hope you guys bring it home for Cleveland County. You and the Crest Chargers both bring us home a couple state championships.
Make us proud.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Lance Ware.
Lance Ware, coach of the Shelby Golden Lions. Congratulations on this program. Steve, I think we have another caller.
Yeah.
Hello.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, this is Joel.
Hey, Daryl.
This is Joel, Kingsmount fan.
Oh, okay,
hey,
Joel. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Joel.
That's
you went
all
down
right.
at Concord tonight, didn't you?
Yeah, I have. My cousin drugged me out to that game. He flipped the coin toss and he won.
Yeah, there you go, Joel. Tell us a little bit about what you saw tonight. You're a Kings Mountain fan, but you saw Forest View, you saw Concord. Just tell it like it is, Joel.
Well, it started out, Forest View was just moving, and I don't know, it was kind of awkward because how they scored first, they scored right off the bat, and it was 4th and long, and instead of just punting, and they went for it, I guess, and they went deep, and then it looked like Concord was going to intercept it, and just to make it short, it bounced off the Concord guy, and the other receiver for Forest View took off with it because it got behind them, and then he took off and made it 7-0 after it was 4th and like almost 30.
Yeah.
And but it was interesting. Then Concord got it right back, and they used their running attack, but then they got a little passing attack, but not like Forest View though. But once they got that running game going, it went right back 7-7, but they made 8-7 because they had for some reason they went for 2. I don't know what that was.
Well,
but then Forest U, then it just kind of went downhill because it was sloppy after that.
Well, Joel, the Concord team dominated South Point. They've dominated Forest View. Are they that much bigger and tougher than the two Gaston County teams? Because we know what those two teams are.
They're a little bit more physical, but they're more a little bit athletic and big, and they're big across the line.
Well, we said
and they got skilled position players at every spot. Seems like.
Yeah, we said last week that and some of the South Point people said this too, that they thought Forest View might have a better chance because Forest View could throw the ball, but evidently Forest View wasn't successful throwing the ball against this team. Why not, Joel? What did you see?
They was already kidding on. They had their bright spots of passing, but they made Logan Bradley run all night. They sacked him. They chased him all over the field.
So the old saying, if you cut the head off the snake, you can kill it. And if they took out Bradley, then they could take out the passing attack that Forest View had to have in order to win.
Yeah, like I said, even that last one, when they scored on the second touchdown to make it 35-14, he threw a beautiful pass in the back of the end zone. Even it was third and long, but he had his moments. It just unfortunately he had to run a lot too.
Well, Joel, I appreciate your calling this year. Steve says we got to go to a break, so thank you, Joel, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
All right, you have a good night.
Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. Those are the powerhouse of vehicles you'll find at Marburger in Shelby. Plus quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. And of course, a service department that is second to no one. So when you're in need of another vehicle, see the friendly staff at Marburger. Marburger, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. 1310 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Proud supporters of our local school athletic teams.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Since 1900, the Stamey Funeral Home in Fallston has been serving the families of our area with the finest in funeral service. In 1998, the Tysinger family began to serve the families of the Cherryville community, and today are a proud member of that community, providing services with dignity and respect. Caring for your family like our own. That's their slogan. Come talk with manager Pete Kraft about the services they provide at the Stamey Cherryville Funeral Home, 405 North Dixie Street in Cherryville.
Today's high school football broadcast is being brought to you in part by your local Jack in the Box. Visit your nearest Jack in the Box anytime, 24 hours a day. The dining room is open till midnight, Sunday through Thursday, and 24 hours on Friday and Saturday. And of course, the drive-thru is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's Jack in the Box, 3618 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia, 455 Earl Road in Shelby, and 102 College View Road in Dallas.
Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. Those are the powerhouse of vehicles you'll find at Marburger in Shelby. Plus quality pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. And of course, a service department that is second to no one. So when you're in need of another vehicle, see the friendly staff at Marburger. Marburger, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Nissan. 1310 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Proud supporters of our local school athletic teams.
Where are you headed after the big game? To Newt's on the Court Square in Uptown Shelby. Newt's will be open till midnight after the high school football games this season. Come out and celebrate on Friday nights at Newt's. They feature a $5 burger every day. And on Wednesday, all burgers, sandwiches, and wraps are just $5. Newt's features all Angus beef or build your own salad. For after the game or just about any time, it's Newt's on the Court Square in Uptown Shelby. Open 7 days a week until midnight on football Friday nights. Like us on Facebook for our daily specials.
For for next weekend. In the 1A, it was Plymouth defeating Lejeune 50-13 and Murphy over Albemarle 53-21. Next Saturday at 11 a.m. at Wake Forest University, Plymouth plays Murphy. In the 1AA, it was James Keenan over Wallace Rose Hill 28-14 and West Montgomery over Swain County 44-38. Next Saturday at 3 p.m. at Wake Forest University, James Keenan will play West Montgomery. In the 2A, it was Southwest Onslow 19, Northeastern 9, and Shelby 49, Reidsville 3. Next Saturday at 11:30 at Keenan Stadium, it will be Shelby playing Southwest Onslow. In the 2AA, it was T.W. Andrews 42, Washington 15, Monroe 48, Parkwood 20. Next Friday at 7:30 at Keenan Stadium, Monroe will play T.W. Andrews. In the 3A, it was Havelock defeating Eastern Wayne 44-20 and Concord over Forest View 35-14. Next Saturday at 11:30 at North Carolina State University, Havelock will play Concord. In the 3AA, it was Southern Durham defeating Hunt 38-10, and Crest, a come-from-behind win to defeat Northern Guilford 23-17 in overtime. Next Saturday, 7 p.m. at Wake Forest University, Crest will play Southern Durham for the state title. In the 4A, it was Scotland County over J.H. Rose 53-40, and Greensboro Dudley defeated Charlotte Catholic 20-15. Next Saturday at 3 p.m. at North Carolina State University, Greensboro Dudley and Scotland County will play for the state title. In the 4AA, it was Wake Forest defeating Middle Creek 24-23 and Mallard Creek over Butler 56-14. Next Saturday, 7 p.m. at North Carolina State University, Mallard Creek and Wake Forest will play for the 4AA state title. And now back to the guys in the studio.
Your sports leader is Big O Country, 1390 AM WHS in Shelby, 1590 AM WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia, 1050 AM WLON Lincoln, and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Well, thank you, and welcome back to the Marburger postgame show. Fellas, we only got about 10 minutes, but before we do, I want to go over the Sweet 16 one time, and then I want to get your thoughts about some of these championship games that are coming up next week. Looking at the Sweet 16 this week, at number 16. Oh, we have a caller. All right. All right, caller.
Go ahead.
Hey, guys. It's Bill Pascal and Jeff Jones from Sister Grove.
All right, take it away. Tell us about your 49-3 victory tonight. You there, Brent? Brett
Hello.
Pascal. Hello, Brett.
Can you hear me now? Good.
We've lost him.
Try Verizon. It works pretty good.
Yep.
Call us back, Brett.
Call us back.
Okay.
Go ahead.
While we're waiting for Brett to call back, number 16, Lewis East Lincoln.
Yep.
A good quality team that will be even better next year.
Yep.
At number 15, North Rowan. Number 14, Rocky River. 13, Forest View, a team that we heard had a lot of seniors but should be working next year. At number 12, I think a team that should be higher ranked, and that is Shelby.
Yep.
Number 11, Monroe. Number 10, Huff. Number 9, Rock Hill South Point. Number 8, South Point, Belmont, who finished 8th. Their season is over. Concord was 7th. Lewis, I got to feel like they may move up.
They might.
And they're undefeated, too. I didn't know
They're
that.
undefeated, yeah. They'll go up.
15-0 now. Butler is number 6, and I think they lost tonight, fellas.
Big. They lost
I could
big,
see them dropping.
Big time.
Along with Charlotte Catholic, who is tied at number 4. Charlotte Catholic lost tonight. They could be moving down. Tied with Charlotte Christian and Independent School, but their season is complete at 12-0. And at number 3, ladies and gentlemen, you know, number 3 in the poll, but number 1 in my heart, Crest Tice Chargers. Number 2, the Rock Hill Northwestern team. And at number 1, I think the legitimate 4AA state championship team. I'm going to go ahead and declare it now.
Mallard Creek.
Mallard Creek.
Absolutely.
Well, we don't know exactly what Wake Forest has had, but they better have a lot.
Yes.
They're going to hang with
They
that.
could play
with
Wake
Mallard
Forest
Creek,
University, and I think Mallard Creek would win.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, let's look at some of these games for the championship over here. Give me your pick. Let's start over here with the 4AA. We were just talking about Mallard Creek and Wake Forest.
I'm going with Mallard Creek.
Tom?
Yeah, I think Mallard Creek is the best team in the state.
I'm going with you guys. All right, now we've got Dudley playing Scotland County. Lewis?
Scotland County.
Looks like Scotland County can score a lot of points, but I'll go with the home team. Let's go with the West. Let's go with Dudley.
I'm going with Scotland County, the Fighting Scots for that one. Lewis, Crest and Southern Durham.
I don't know a thing about Southern Durham, but they better be dad blame pretty good if they're going to beat Crest, and I'm going with Crest.
Well, Southern Durham, I think, has some experience, but so does Crest. That's going to be one of them, what, Lewis?
Slobber knockers. Absolutely.
Tom?
Seems to be a team of destiny this year. I like Crest in
Right.
that ball game.
Yes, sir.
All right, we are the Auburn of high school football.
Go ahead.
All right, on the next one there, fellas, you've got Concord against Havelock.
Havelock.
Okay, Lewis, you said that real quick. Now tell them why you said
Because
that.
Havelock is loaded with
to
a
the
capital L.
And one of the best little scat backs in the entire country.
Well,
being recruited, Tom, by your
Ohio State Buckeyes.
And they tell me, now I don't know, I've never seen them play, but what I've read online, they have 6 legitimate Division I prospects.
Only 6.
That's what I heard.
And that's a 3A school.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get a hold of a friend who's moved down there and was going to coach, but chose not to this year, and get some background on those, but he hasn't called me back.
Yeah, I'm going with Havelock. If Concord better be pretty good if they're going to play with Havelock.
Tom?
I don't. After hearing that, I guess I have to go with Havelock.
You don't have to do anything, Tom.
No, you go until you want to.
This is America.
No, it sounds like Havelock's pretty
mom?
loaded.
You want to call?
No, I'll
call
probably get a
someone
bad.
and check? Okay. All right.
So maybe history's on the side. We're history teachers here, so history
There you
tends to
go.
repeat itself.
Speaking of teams of destiny, it wasn't Parkwood this year, fellas.
No.
But for a 16 seed, they did pretty dang good.
Pretty good.
Monroe, the Red Hawks against T.W. Andrews. Lewis?
Well, my son lives in High Point, and that's where Andrews is.
Yeah.
And he's watched them 2 times this year, and he's really impressed with them. Now, I haven't seen Monroe, and I don't think he has either, but with who they play down there, they play Ragsdale and they play Northern. They play a pretty good schedule.
They played Lucy, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to go with T.W. Andrews on that one.
Tommy?
After hearing that argument, I got to go with Lewis. I got to go with T.W. Andrews.
Well, I'm going to be a contrarian, Lewis. I'm going with the Monroe Red
Well,
Hawks.
Monroe's good.
Because they are
from
very
what I
well
understand,
coached.
they're very good.
Yeah, very well coached. Okay, fellas. Shelby versus Southwest Onslow.
Shelby.
Tell it like it is.
Shelby.
Tom?
I think Shelby's going to win this ball game.
Golden Lines all the way.
Yep.
Hey, and we didn't hear from Steve Degree tonight. He must be stuck in a bus somewhere
he
on the way back. All right. You got West Montgomery against James Keenan. Lewis?
Well, don't know anything whole lot about these teams this year. I do know that traditionally James Keenan is a pretty good ball team, but for West Montgomery to go to Swain County and beat them in Bryson City, I'm going with West Montgomery.
If you think that's a trip, just wait.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is Bryson City is a tough place to play.
Yeah.
And they, West Montgomery, I got to go with West Montgomery in this one.
Tom?
Well, again, I see a compelling argument there. How far is West Montgomery from Swain County?
About 5 hours.
So you can hop on a bus and
Just
score
hop on the
40.
bus.
Swain County.
You rode 5 hours, hopped on a bus, and scored 44.
Swain County
is next to the Cherokee
it's
Indian
in eastern
Reservation.
Tennessee. Is where it really is.
So it's actually in Tennessee. They could play for the North Carolina or the Tennessee.
It's not
State.
really in eastern Tennessee.
They're closer to 4 state capitals than they are their own.
Yeah.
I like West Montgomery then.
They are.
Okay. I'm going to go for James Keenan, again, to be contrarian. Now, Lewis, you talk about you better pack a lunch.
Oh, honey.
Murphy versus Plymouth.
These 2 teams are at
800 miles
Woo,
apart.
honey. They are.
I remember.
Murphy is almost in Tennessee, and Plymouth's almost in the ocean.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, it's a long way. It's a good thing they playing in the middle, because
it'll be a 6-hour bus ride for both of them.
Yes, it will.
And Plymouth's got the longest winning streak in this.
Yeah, they were state champions last year.
Yeah,
All
tell you what,
Tom?
though, I'm gonna go with upset. If Plymouth is state champions, they're probably pretty good, but I like them boys from Murphy.
Them Mountain Boys. All right, Tom.
Plymouth, solid as a rock. Going with Plymouth.
There you go. All right.
You know, it's Marburger, Chrysler, Dodge, no Plymouth. They quit making those.
There you
So
go.
I'm going with Murphy on that one.
Yeah.
To be nice to the
I'll
folks.
tell you what, that's going to be a good. Those are some good matchups. Period.
That's worthy of a state championship.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, speaking of being worthy of a state
We
championship,
got to get out of here, and we got a few things. I've got a few things I want to say.
Yes, Lewis. We'll turn it over to you.
One thing is
these editorials are coming from Lewis.
We want to remark on the death of Nelson Mandela, one of the greatest leaders of our century. Also, want to remind everybody that tomorrow is December the 7th, and
A day that will live in infamy.
Day live in infamy. That's Pearl Harbor. And I got to say something. Jameis Winston has been cleared to play for this. He's cleared of the charges.
Yeah.
I personally think that he wasn't guilty of anything to start with, and somebody got dollar signs in their eyes when he became a Heisman candidate.
Well, you know,
that's just my opinion.
You know, the sad thing is the way the justice system works. Even though he's been cleared of any criminal charges, she's already looking to file civil charges against him, and it's just
You're supposed to be
sad. It's
innocent
just really,
until proven
really,
guilty.
really
but
sad.
Lewis, in reality, you're guilty till proven innocent.
If he wins a Heisman and he stays healthy, he's going to be a #1 draft pick.
Yeah.
And that's money.
And you
money,
know what?
money.
And you know what? I got a feeling. You know what? Even though I don't think he's done anything wrong, he's gonna give this lady her run money. Here's your money.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It is sad.
That's sad. But you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, if you've got the fame and the fortune, and you know those things happen.
Last call, fellas. Big game tomorrow. ACC championship in Charlotte. Duke versus Florida State. Lewis, your pick.
Florida State.
Tom?
Going out on a limb, Florida State.
Yeah.
Well, go Seminoles.
Yep.
Sorry, Andy Foster, but it looks like the Seminoles will win.
Me, don't forget me.
Oh, Steve.
Yeah, go Duke.
There you go.
But
yeah,
where are they
they're
going?
They're gonna go down.
Steve,
That's where they're going.
It will be a moral victory if they stay within 30.
It'll be a moral victory if they show up for the game.
That's going to be a good one.
Oh, well.
All right, folks. Hey, we'll be back next week for state championship Friday night football right here on the Marburger postgame show. If, Lewis.
Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.